The best way to understand another human being is to watch how they behave. And so the baby human begins to understand others by carefully observing them.
Say hey, Mama. Say hey, Mama.
Gazing is one of the most powerful tools humans have at their disposal. In the first months of life, the baby human is riveted to the face that is dearest to them.
Oh, really?
This is the face they communicate
I
with.
did not know that.
They see expressions that change
Tell me more.
and eventually learn to interpret them.
I gotcha.
At 3 months, Phoenix gazes into his mother's eyes. At the moment, Phoenix only responds to his mother's gaze when it's turned on him. But there will come a time when Phoenix will follow this gaze when it turns to the outside world,
Wakey, wakey.
and the vista will open up.
I got you. Yeah, I did. Are you ready? Mwah.
Because following someone's gaze is the way humans come to understand what is of interest to another person, researchers have paid special attention to it.
Oh, peekaboo.
To find out at what age babies actually begin to follow an adult's gaze, researchers at Chris Moore's lab at Dalhousie University put 7-month Delaney face-to-face with a researcher.
Oh, peekaboo. Peekaboo. Oh, there you go.
The researcher first makes eye contact with Delaney to capture her attention. Then she turns her head. Delaney simply stares. For her, the turn of the head means contact has been broken. At 7 months, she cannot yet interpret it as an invitation to look at something.
Hey, William, you're being so good.
10-month William is put to the same test. As soon as the researcher turns her head, he follows her gaze and is rewarded with a dog show.
Oh, look at the doggy. Oh, you see that doggy? Where's the doggy?
He is filled with glee at this wonderful apparition. This research has shown that between 9 and 12 months, the baby human gains the ability to follow someone else's gaze.
Oh.
Look at the waves, Serena. Look at all the surfers out there.
10 months Serena and her mother are taking in the sights on a Sunday afternoon walk at the beach. Following the focus of someone's attention is one of the most important skills a human has. When her mother suddenly looks up, she takes an interest and follows her gaze. Does Serena know what her mother is looking at? Is she looking at the dogs? Is she looking at the water? Can Serena follow her mother's gaze so precisely that she is able to identify exactly what her mother is looking at?
Okay, Louisa.
To find out, researchers at Michael Tomasello's lab in Germany are experimenting with gaze following.
Louisa, cuckoo.
12-month Louisa
Come on,
is
Louisa.
sitting next to her mother. When the researcher turns and looks at the star on the wall, will Louisa think she's just staring at the wall? Or will she know that it's the star she's looking at? Louisa crawls over to the wall and pinpoints exactly what the researcher is looking at. She shows this by touching the star. But what happens if the object of a person's gaze is invisible to the baby? This time, 12-month Eustace sees the researcher look behind the wall. Unlike Louisa, he can't see the toy the researcher is looking at. But that doesn't stop him. He thinks that the researcher sees something behind the barrier and crawls over to see what's so interesting. So by 12 months of age, the baby human not only follows someone's gaze, but interprets it as a signal to come and see something worth looking at. It has long been recognized by scientists that humans share many behaviors with our closest relatives, the apes. Behaviors that were most critical for survival. But what makes humans unique is found at the point where they diverge from other primates. This is what interests researchers at the Max Planck Institute in Germany, who are conducting parallel studies on chimpanzees at the zoo. The gaze study is one of them. While feeding a chimp named Reet, the researcher suddenly looks up. Reet also looks up. The researcher leans back as if she's straining to see what's behind a partially closed door. Reet ambles over to the other enclosure, curious to see what she might be looking at. So Reet, like the baby human, has interpreted this gaze behind a barrier as an invitation to see something interesting. It's long been known that by 1 year of age, the baby human can follow a pointing finger. But researchers further asked, can the baby human actually understand that someone is trying to communicate something by pointing? The researcher shows 18-month Charlene a car. Then behind a screen, she places it into a container. When the screen is removed, Charlene sees 2 containers. The researcher points at one of them. Even though the researcher did not look at the pail, Charlene has no trouble understanding that the researcher's pointing was meant to communicate something to her. She has understood that the toy was hidden beneath the container. But chimps, even though they understand gaze following, do not understand pointing as a way of communicating information. So although the baby human shares a number of abilities with our closest relatives, it appears that the higher forms of understanding are uniquely human. Like all primates, the baby human learns about the world through relationships with others. They follow gaze, understand pointing, but they also have another skill. The best way to understand what others are doing is to imitate their actions. 14-month Leah has watched her mother closely. She applies what she's learned by copying her. Recently, she has observed that human beings talk on the telephone a lot. She's never seen a cat or a dog do that. So does Leah assume that animals don't talk on the phone? Does she think there are certain activities reserved for humans alone? 14-month Alyssa has come to Diane Poulain-Dubois' lab at Concordia University.
Okay, look at this.
Alyssa sees the researcher demonstrate an activity with a toy orangutan.
Hey, look at this.
The orangutan jumps over the wall.
Okay.
Before handing it over to Alyssa, she replaces the orangutan with 2 toys, a man and a horse.
Can you show me? Whoop.
The question is, who will jump over the wall?
Whoop.
Alyssa picks the horse.
Whoop.
At this young age, she seems to understand that horses, not people, jump over walls.
Okay. Brianna.
20-month Brianna sees the orangutan answer the toy telephone.
Ring, ring. Hello. Watch me again. Ring, ring. Hello.
Then the telephone is moved over to her side of the table.
Your turn. Can you show me? Ring, ring. Hello.
Brianna first wants to see if the call's for her.
Can you show me?
Then she realizes that the choice must be between the woman and the cow. She chooses the woman. She knows that cows don't speak on the phone.
Show me ring, ring. Look, it's me.
Whether it's talking on the telephone or looking in a mirror, time after time the children in the study match the activity with the appropriate toy. This new research shows that by the age of 14 months, the baby human knows the difference between activities that belong to both animals and humans and others which are typically human.
Look, it's me. How pretty.
So the baby human understands that humans engage in certain activities. But understanding what people are doing is different from understanding why they are doing them. How does the baby human learn the difficult task of understanding that there are intentions behind people's actions?